I have a deck of 52 cards right here. Regular deck, nothing wrong with it. And I'm going to pick 3 right off of the top, okay? 3 right here. I'm going to put the rest of the cards over here. And I'm going to want you to look at these 3 cards. We have 2 aces and a 2. I want you guys to pick one of these cards, okay? One of these cards. And I want you to think of that card. Alright? And I'm going to take these 3 cards. I'm going to shuffle them up. And if you picked the 2 of clubs, then that is pretty awesome because I have no clue how to do magic. Hey everybody, this is my spoiler-free review for Now You See Me 2, the sequel to 2013's Now You See Me, and just like the original, Now You See Me 2 had a bunch of twists and turns, and you weren't sure who was on what side, who was good, who was bad, and, you know, it was just all that type of great guesswork, and it just had a lot of cool, like, explanations, just like the previous film, as far as how they did things, and going back and looking at the flashbacks, and the behind the scenes, and all that stuff, where it just kind of like took you on this roller coaster ride of how they did everything. And it's just, that's what these Now You See Me movies really are. They're kind of like a little roller coaster ride where, you know, it speeds up and then you kind of get the explanations and then you're like, whoa, and, you know, stuff like that. So, I did enjoy the film. Let's go into the characters. So we have the returning cast, except for Fisher, who had to go, who was not in the film due to a pregnancy. So she was replaced by Lizzy Caplan, who I thought, who did play a different character, by the way. I thought that she was a great addition to the cast, like really brought a lot. I was really surprised by that. Great comedy, and that goes for the movie as a whole. The jokes, like, they nailed the jokes. If it was supposed to be a funny moment, I found it funny. So the comedy was a great surprise. I know they did pretty well with the comedy in the first film, but I just feel like in this sequel, they really stepped up the game as far as the comedy goes. So like I said, Lizzy Caplan did a great job with the character, very likable, and just such a great addition to the cast of the original Horsemen. And now as far as the returning cast members, they still had that same pretty good chemistry that we saw in the first film. It's not perfect, but it's there, you know, you don't feel like they're distant. They have their, like, you know, their little arguments with each other, and you know, you can tell that they've known each other for a long time in the movieverse. So as far as the action goes, you know, there was not too much action, but you know, you get a couple of fight scenes in these types of movies. There was a little bit of shaky cam, and the problem with the shaky cam is I can't judge it perfectly, and that is because I sat in the very front first row at the theater because it was so packed. I even got there an hour early, and it was just, I was not expecting that many people to show up that early, so I had to sit in the front row. And I've only done that 2 other times in my life. First time was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, which was the animated Tarzan movie way back in the 90s. So it was between sitting in the front row and the shaky cam, it just felt like a big giant mess, and I didn't even try to follow it. So I'm not sure how it translated to sitting, you know, farther up. Maybe it's not too bad, but sitting in the front row, not a great idea for this movie as if you want to enjoy the fight scenes. So I can't really, you know, judge that perfectly, but the shaky cam was there, but it wasn't there much, because like I said, there's not too many fight scenes. So it doesn't happen all that often, just a couple times. But it was there, so people don't like shaky cam in their action scenes. It is there. So overall, it was a really enjoyable film. It's a movie where it makes you think, yet it's fun. And even though you have all those twists and turns in a Now You See Me movie, I don't see them as too overly hard to follow, because they do kind of go step by step of like, this is how we did it. And the only thing I think that would kind of confuse people is kind of maybe the multi-level storylines, has kind of like more than one thing happening at the same time. But overall, I think the movie is fairly simple to follow for the type of film that it is. It's, you know, one with a lot of misdirection, a lot of stuff happening at once. But it, like I said, it's not too difficult to follow. So with the first film, I do feel like it is a very good sequel, a very good follow-up, because of the fact where I feel like if you took this movie and you just watched it right after finishing the first movie, it would feel like a 4-hour movie, in my opinion. Like, there would be a little bit of a time jump, of course, but it flowed very well. It still felt like the same movie. And a lot of times with sequels, they have that problem of it didn't feel like the original. It didn't have that same magic. But it did carry that into the second film, so that was great to see. And I just really enjoyed it. It was, you know, not perfect, of course, but it was a rare time when the sequel just felt like a very direct continuation of the first film that came before it. So overall, great movie, really enjoyed it. Good summer action flick, not action flick, but it's a good summer movie. You know, there were multiple sequences. There were two that really stand out, that were just done so well, and you kind of have to laugh at how clever it was. So, you know, just a good, you know, popcorn flick to sit back in the summer and just kind of, it makes you think a little bit at the same time. I was going to say, what do you think of the movie, but you haven't seen it yet because this is an early review. So when you do see it, let me know what you thought of it. If you agree with some of my thoughts or disagree, it's fine to disagree. I don't think I'm going to be doing a spoiler review for this one, so this is just going to be my only review for the film. Really enjoyed it. Great film. And until next time, I am Marlon Fan95. See you guys.